Pat Renwick here. Tonight is a very special night for us here at Stray Cast. It is the best of our second best of episode, the Bassmaster Classic. The best of the Bassmaster Classic. 50 years of the biggest event in professional bass fishing. Yep, and we got, for the last 5 years, a lot of Bassmaster Classic champions. So we're bringing to you, JP High and Andrew Ellenberger, the Ginger Ninja, have compiled for you some of the best Bassmaster Classic champion clips over the last 5 years. Hey, sit back, enjoy. It's going to be good. And in the meantime, I'll get back to this mess. Peace.
Hey, it's Carl, and I've got some big plans this fishing season. I'm hoping to get in the best shape of my life to have some of the best fishing of my life. And I want you to join me for Carl's spring training. Let's get it. Let's get it.
The all-new XF series by Crestliner. Simplistic perfection with performance features built on a platform for success. The amazingly affordable XF series by Crestliner. A brand new way to reel in bass. For more information and to find your local dealer, visit Crestliner.com today. The Crestliner Real Deal Sales Event. The best time to buy is now at Crestliner.com. Save up to $3,000 today. Step up your game. It has been said that professionals are only as good as the tools they work with, and Alpha Angler has developed the ultimate set of tools for you, the competitive angler. Alpha Angler custom rods, brought to fruition by the passion of master craftsman Jake Boomer and 2017 BASS Angler of the Year Brandon Palaniuk. Alpha Angler rods are custom made in the USA. Designed and engineered to be perfect, Alpha Angler utilizes a very unconventional approach to making the very best bass rods, from drop shotting to flipping. Alpha Angler's focus is on building perfectly balanced tournament-grade bass rods at an affordable price. Join the Alphalution today and purchase direct at alphaangler.com. Step up your game. alphaangler.com.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
I recall reading about you taking a little nap in the Tules or in the bulrushes. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. And you waking up to what you described as a moment of clarity. A moment of clarity.
Yeah.
That went on to you find the winning spot in the 2003 Bassmaster Classic. Tell us about that, Mike, please.
Yeah, it's and it's funny because as you were describing it, I lived it, I wrote it, hadn't thought about it a while, and as you were describing it, it was actually getting chills again. I honestly felt goosebumps on my arms. It was one of those weird things. Up to that point, I had never fallen asleep in a boat, especially practicing for a major event like that. Man, I fell asleep. There was so much stuff going on in my life at that point. I was getting ready to go through a divorce. I had just my uncle had just battled cancer. There were so many things going on in my life. I felt like I honestly felt like that was going to be my last tournament I ever fished in my life. I was going to fish the Classic, and I was going to leave it.
You're going to hang it up.
And hang it up. And a big storm rolled through. We're in the marsh. There's no docks to get under. There's no bridges to hide under. I basically jammed into the reeds, the Rosa cane, whatever you want to call them, and made a canopy and fell asleep. And about 30 minutes later, I woke up, and I just had this uncontrollable urge to keep going, to keep hunting. to keep trying. Even though everything around me was going to shit, I wanted to keep pushing. And literally, the next place I went to was this really long canal. And as I went up it, it got so narrow I had to come off pad. And I vividly remember thinking, God, should I turn around? Should I keep going? I just kept going and going. And I just barely pushed through to what was kind of like a pond or a small lake. And man, I shut the motor off and just drifted in. And it was like I never, before I ever made a cast, I looked around, looked at the water clarity, I saw mullet jumping. I'm like, I just knew. It just had this weird feeling that something magical just happened. And that was the winning spot. And I found the winning spot at that very moment, literally after I fell asleep, after that storm passed. And it's incredible. You know, you can't explain stuff like that. It's freaky. And the longer I live, the more I know that, you know, when stuff's meant to happen, it's going to happen. And that was one of those things. It was, you know, it was meant to be, to find that spot in that moment in time. And it was a strange deal.
You found the heart, dude. You called it the heart, and you found
the heart
right there. In a turmoil of hell, in the mass chaos of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse,
yes,
you managed to find the winning spot of the 2003 Bassmaster Classic.
On the preface, we're on the cusp of the Bassmaster Classic. There was a Bassmaster Classic that I did with Tommy Sanders. Pat, I honestly think it was a year or two before I met you. I'm dead serious.
Okay.
I said the word basically 13 times in one sentence.
That's great. That is great. You've come a long way, Mr. Zona.
Not really. Not really. No.
Well, hanging out with Tommy Sanders is certainly an amazing influence to your art, to practicing the art.
Fair to say, I think I owe him my career. Fair to say.
Dude, I want to say something to you. And I would like to compliment you right off the bat. Furthermore than the amazing ass-kissing intro that we did here at the beginning. But
Killer intro.
Well, come on. I want to say, you have the uncanny ability to keep it real, even when things may be unreal. Does that make sense, Mark?
Explain how. I'm interested in that.
Well, maybe it could be a perception of Mark Zona. Maybe this is not a reality. But in chaos of bass fishing, there's sometimes turmoil and whirlwinds and tornadoes. And you handle it well. You handle it well.
I appreciate that. It's been an interesting, really lifetime in bass fishing outside. You know, when I got out of college, but really when I started TV 17 years ago, every year's been different. You know, there's up years and there's down years, and what's funny is there's always been a very bipolar two sides of the goofy job that I have. The one is the one with Tommy Sanders and with Bass, and then the totally opposite side is the other side of my business is my television show. And they're both very much different, but the one thing, as much as I've goofed around and had fun and at times serious, I never want it to be BS. What you see is what you get, and the other side of that is, I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody drink. Wait.
I'm dead serious when I say this, is whether you like me or you don't like me, whatever it might be, I will never BS you. I won't do that. I don't, and I certainly, the last 6 months, what's funny is what's gone on the last 6 months, I've learned a lot about myself in life and business, and especially knowing where I came from. And
awesome.
I
That's
hope
what this whole show is about, Mark. That's what it's all
no
about.
Doubt.
That's what it's about tonight.
I mean, that's
No doubt.
that's what we're talking about here. I mean, do you consider yourself a dreamer?
Well, absolutely. Well, ironically, this is no joke, I was listening to Journey right before we went live. If you're listening to Journey on a Wednesday night before Stray Cast Talk Show, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, you're a dreamer, Pat.
Saying that this could be one of the most historic Bassmaster classics of all time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely, man. Gosh, you know what's weird is I read a blog, a recent blog with Swindle, and you know the guys that, and this is what the guys that I work with and myself, the guys that basically have retired from the Elite Series, the guys that have retired and moved on, that there's a damn good chance this is the last time you will see them in the biggest event in bass fishing, in the Bassmaster Classic, and that in itself is going to cause what Swindle said, a massive level of competition. But it is going to be by Sunday, it will be a flood of emotions.
Yeah,
it'll be a flood of emotions, and I'll tell you something. You know, there's been there's been a lot of drama and blah and all BS like that. And really since the day I started, when I started with bass, is look, I fished Everstarts. That's where I came from.
Sure.
And really when I started to understand the business side of it and the TV side of it, and I'm not saying I still understand it, I've never been real big on, ooh, this organization, or ooh, this one here, or now this new one, ooh, this one here. I don't play that. I don't play that shit. That's not my gig.
Thank you.
I commentate tournaments for the organization that I grew up watching on Halstead Road on TNN back in the day. And as time went on, to have that opportunity here's what's interesting, and I'm bouncing around, but to go to this classic with guys that I owe an incredible amount of thanks to, I'm going to say that to a load of guys next week. Dude, thank you for the last 17 years. Thank you so much. Number one didn't build the other, or this built this, or this built this. It's been a group effort. And there's a lot of, no, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of guys I ain't going to say thanks to. Let's not go there. See, but here's the other side of that is in any sport, media and players, they're gonna combat. They're gonna combat together. I've made it. Edwin and I, outside of tournaments, get along great. But inside covering an event, we are cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. He'll admit it.
It's amazing.
And what's funny is that's a competitor in himself, and I have to do a job. He might not like that I have to do a job, but that what's weird is when you reflect on all these years, in some way, shape, or form, I respect the hell out of each one of them. I truly do.
Sure.
You know, my whole goal with my job at Bass is just to, I just want to, I guess the best way to explain this, I'm sure you have heard writers say, you know, a good writer, you know, writes about a topic, but doesn't insert himself. You know, it's about the topic, and it makes that moment, builds that moment. And my goal is, hey, when Jordan Lee wins a classic, I want him to look back, and I want to be able to, I work as hard as I can to get the people in the crowd to cheer for those guys. Because it's one of the things that drives me crazy, and it's one of the things that makes our sport so special. In other sports, I mean, you do all the activity in front of the crowds. You get that cheering throughout the day. But these guys leave for 8 hours and they come back. And sure, there's flotillas that follow them around and they'll get a hoot and a holler. But to me, with everything that these guys and girls, I mean, there's no ladies on the Elite Series now, but that's now. There's a lot of anglers trying to make it. But you have to risk so much and commit so much to make it on the Elite Series. For me, I just I'll do whatever it takes to get that crowd. I'm an idiot that runs out on the stage and spits water in the air and stuff like that. Yes. Why do I do that? I don't know. I watched too much wrestling growing up, probably.
It's awesome.
But the other reason is to get people excited, because it is, to me, that's the moment those guys get. And anybody who's ever attended a classic, I think Kevin says it's best. There's the guy who has had the most dominant career in the history of fishing. He's like, I can't miss that crowning moment. The hair on the back of my neck stands up. That we're so addicted to it. And for me to run around and be able to be, whether it's crazy, strange, or whatever you want to call it, I'm just being myself and I'm just putting my own energy out there. I mean, I swear to you, if you sat with me, let's be honest, a few years from now, it might be sooner than I know, I'll probably get fired. And I love the Classic, so I'm still going to go to the freaking Classic. It's not like I'm going to get fired and stay at home in Canada and sulk. I'll still be at the Classic. But if that first Classic that I'm not on the stage, if you're with me, I swear to you, I will jump when that person wins.
The TH Marine HydroWave H2 KVD Edition is a surefire way to ignite a feeding frenzy. The HydroWave utilizes a sound-emitting technology that imitates bait fish and other feeding fish below the surface that preys on the competitive nature of bass and other game fish to get you more bites. The HydroWave is another way that TH Marine has you covered from transom to trolling motor.
As a professional angler, I rely on my equipment to be successful on the water, and my eyewear is no exception. Oh, yep, good one. 6-pounder, 7-pounder. From daylight till dark, every single day of my life, in the truck, on the water. My Amphibia eye gear provide 100% polarized protection. They're ANSI safety rated for impact, and best of all, they float.
For you.
It's always every year making the Classic. Make no mistake. I mean, we're doing a different thing at Major League Fishing, and we're striking out. We're trying to help raise the bar for the entire sport. That takes nothing away from Bassmaster and the Elite Series.
Right.
That's the top tour out there, and the Bassmaster Classic is the Super Bowl. It is Augusta National. It is the deal. It's the World Series. And that's been that way for a long time. So for any angler on any tour, taking a shot and qualifying for the Classic is big every single year.
The 2007 Bassmaster Classic, certainly the highlight of your career. We watched it go down as fans. The elation that you expressed. Outstanding. What did Boyd say when he caught that fish?
I watched it this morning actually at work.
And what did he say?
That's what I'm fishing for.
That's what I'm fishing for.
It was one of my favorite moments of. I mean, any of the Classic winning fish. Honestly, that one. Obviously Iaconelli, with the big freak out. But God, when you caught that thing, it was just like there was like a pause for a second when you pulled it out of the water, and then it looked like you were like, oh my God, I think I just won. And they just all came out. It was so cool. And you worked so hard for that fish too. It was nuts.
Yeah, weighed 6'10", I remember well. But there's times in tournaments, where you're not certain because we don't have the scoreboard at Bass and FLW. Mm-hmm. But then there's other times that you just know. You just know it was enough. And in that Classic, when I boated that fish, I would have been so disappointed because I fully believed I'd won the Classic. And you don't know for sure, but that was such a big moment, and that's what I was fishing for, man. I was fishing for 2 bites a day in that classic, and I got 2 big bites every day, flipping mats, but I had to have them, you know.
Sure.
And Skeete crushed them the last day. You remember?
Yes,
You know, he caught a big bag.
Welcome back to Straycast Outdoor Cartoon Television. We bring to you tonight a special feature. The spawn of the foothills of Tennessee. To the 9-year-old on Lake Okeechobee. To the 50 tournaments in 1 year with Bud. To flourishing through the FLW Tour. To persevering the Opens, to qualify for the Elites, to becoming a TV star, and finally to arrive as the 2019 Bassmaster Classic champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up right now for the one and only Ott Defoe. Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ott Defoe. What are you doing here, Ott?
Man, that is quite the introduction.
Well,
I've had a couple lately, but nothing like that. I really, really like that version.
Well, I'm going to tell you a true story, and this is not a true story that I just made up. It's an actual true story.
Okay.
This is real confetti from the floor of the Knoxville Coliseum or wherever the hell we were. This is from there, and we actually saved this just for this joyous occasion right
BMC
here.
confetti.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's That's pretty cool. No, that was, definitely very, very special.
Amazing, man. And first off, I mean, I think congratulations are officially in order. I don't know if you remember me yelling at you from Iaconelli's party congratulating you, but
yeah.
But officially, congratulations. What a very special moment, man. I mean,
wow. Thank you. Yeah, to have, period. I mean, the Bassmaster Classic anywhere is definitely pretty special, but to be right there at home, so many friends, families, everything right there made it just that much better. Something I'll never forget.
Absolutely. Hey, how's your hand after lifting that 5-pound big today with that braid?
It was a little. I thought it was going to cut my finger off there for a minute when it was thrashing around, but I finally got her settled down, and that was about 90 seconds left to go in the day.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
So when I want to tell you, man, and I think maybe you can relate, maybe you can't, but as a bass head, I know you're a fellow bass head, no doubt about it. And I'm not only a bass head, but I'm a bass fishing talk show host or whatever the hell I do. Okay, so one of the cool things about this deal is I get to talk to a lot of you professional anglers.
Yeah,
most of you, in fact. Okay, it's pretty cool for me. Now the next part is and think about life. Whenever you have a conversation with someone, you try to relate, like.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? Put yourself in their shoes. How do they feel? Right. Okay. There's certain things I can relate with you professional anglers and certain things I can't, obviously, because I'm not a professional angler. So in order to relate, I try to put it into perspective. And how the heck does Ott Defoe feel the day after the Bassmaster Classic when he wakes up? And this is my analogy. This is the closest way or the closest feeling I can imagine to something I've experienced. And I think a lot of guys can relate too. So it's kind of like the day after you lost your virginity. You wake up and you're like, heck yeah, that just happened, man.
I did that.
I did that. I won the Bassmaster Classic. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I guess there would be some similarities there. Yeah, it was definitely a surreal experience, to wake up the next day, had to get up early and do a bunch of TV stuff, everything that just the craziness that began immediately following. But to wake up and be like, that trophy it's still sitting right there where I thought I set it down last night. Apparently I didn't steal it, or they've just not found it yet. It was very surreal, and going back and looking at pictures of it and the video of it, it's not like I forgot or didn't remember it happening, but seeing it from not through my own eyes, in some ways makes it more real. You know, if that makes any sense.
It
like
does.
I have to see it from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, just and still surreal, I guess. No matter how much time passes or however you look at it from a personal view, it's still got to seem surreal, though.
Yeah. No, it absolutely does. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, it was announced last April. So we've talked about it for 11 months.
Yeah.
You know, it was the classics coming to your hometown. What about it? You know, how's it going? You know, I mean, just over and over and over. And then it finally gets to where it's, you know, a month out, and then it starts ramping up, and then it gets to where it's 2 weeks out, and then it's a week out, and then you start practice, and then media day, and I mean, it's just talking. And so there's all this build up for 11 months. I mean, there was, you know, build up. And then in 7 or 8 days, it's all over with. And really in 3, you know, for the tournament. So the fact that it built up for so long, and then it was like it was just immediately over with. But because once Classic Week comes around, it's pure chaos. I mean, you're running, you're going, you're fishing, you're off, you're at a meeting, you're at dinner, so it's.
Yeah,
we
saw you.
Whirlwind.
You were like a BB in a boxcar the whole time. I mean,
exactly.
You really were. You really were.
Yeah.
I mean, but you kind of said the build up, and we always hear about how important momentum is in professional bass fishing. Okay, and it's kind of evident here today. You just won the Bassmaster Classic, and you're having a good derb, an amazing derb at the, at Jordan right now.
Yeah.
So the deal is, I mean, my question to you, is momentum a feeling also? Is that a feeling that you're getting out there?
I don't know that I'd say it's a feeling, but it's just that, yeah, I guess it's hard to describe because it didn't matter what I picked up today or where I went. It was never wrong in my mind.
Is it a confidence?
Yeah, it's absolutely confidence. And it was never wrong. You know, I mean, everywhere I fished, even where I didn't catch fish, I felt like I should have, and then once I did get in an area and really got a couple bites and got dialed in on what was going on, I was going to catch one about everywhere I put my bait. That's the way my mind was working.
So I guess momentum is a feeling.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, I just thought of that today, and that's why I ask you that, because we always think of it as momentum as an action. As more of an action, but I think it's upstairs too, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is because you're never second guessing. Should I do this or should I do that? I'm just going to go do this, and there's not. And then I mean, if this doesn't work, that's fine because then you're going to go do that. And
right,
and that's very like
you're trusting yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost the same exact answer that you just gave us right now, what Wesley Strader gave us when he was on his little roll last year. I mean, almost identical answer. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing, man. Hey, let's go back here a little bit in the history book. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your first win was in the early 2000s in FLW, maybe even like 2008, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay, in the Costas. All right, and then you had I think you had 3 elite derb victories, and you had what else? 3 opens, right?
Yeah, I had an all-star in my rookie year, and then then an elite, and 3 opens. So the classic made my 6th win with Bass.
6th win with Bass. Now think about those wins, all right? Back to the feeling that we're talking about. Not necessarily momentum, but that funny feeling we always hear about in bass fishing. Yeah. Is there a similarity between all 7, right? 7 of those wins. That was like you knew. Was there a feeling where you knew something was gonna happen, something special was taking place?
If you go the first one back with FLW, I didn't know it in practice. I mean, I'd had a good practice. I'd caught a lot of fish that was down on Santee Cooper, and but I mean, like 9 o'clock. I remember it was 9:30 the first day before I caught one. Okay. I remember that for sure. But
it's awesome how he remembers that.
Yeah, and it was about a 4.5 pounder I caught off of a bed. I knew where it was, and I'd beat around and I'd tried some other stuff, but I finally like, I got to go catch a fish. So I went to that one, caught it, and I caught a 3-pounder, 3.5 pounder, something off the bed. And then my next 3 bites were like a 6-1, a 6-8, and a 7-1.
That's upstairs in the computer. That's in the hot log. I love it.
Well, that's because that was the first really big bag I ever caught by myself too. It was like 27, 14, 27, 11, something high 27s, and that was the first really big bag over 25 I'd ever caught, and that's one of those things you don't forget. But and after that day, and I was sick. And I'm sick right now. I've got bronchitis.
Could tell a little bit, yeah.
But I was sick in that tournament, and I come in, I'm leading, and I'm like, this is the first big tournament I've ever led. I'm just tired. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, sure.
Because I was just wore out, and then I go out the next day and just blast them again. But it was neat to have that feeling, and I knew when I went back out I was going to catch them again. So it definitely was the All-Star. I did have a little bit of feeling at that one, and I remember, because that was a bracket deal, where you only had to beat 4 people in the first deal, which was on actually Jordan Lake down in Alabama, not the same one we're here in North Carolina, but you only had to beat 4 people. The top 8 made the bracket, so like, well, surely I can beat 4 people, out of 12, and did that easy enough, and then then it was just head to head after that. You only had to beat 3 more people. So I told Jenny, I'm like, I remember driving down there, I told her, so this is really the easiest tournament there's ever been to win. Because all I have to beat 7, there's 12 guys in it, but I only have to beat 7 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then I ended up winning that one. Then the Opens at home, the first one was kind of getting a monkey off my back because I had a couple events there, a PAA and something else that I had, maybe it was an Open that I'd led there too, and didn't win. So it was kind of a deal of, I wonder if I actually can do this, and it was a deal where the first 2 days, the first day went easy. The second day was a struggle, but I put it together. And then the final day was kind of a struggle halfway through the day. And then once it got rolling, I was like, yeah, this is over with. But it was never from the start. Now the 2 in the fall, the first one that I won, 17 in the fall, I would have been pretty mad if I didn't win. That's just the way that one is. It just when it was.
It was yours to lose, as cliche as it sounds.
That one, that one, I would have been upset had I not won. And then the last one there, I was not even going to fish. And Andy Montgomery told me I was crazy if I didn't.
Wow.
So I borrowed a buddy's boat, flat bottom, and jumped in that one. And I felt like it was never my tournament to win. I really didn't, because I kind of had a little bit off first day, and Patrick Walters had done so well the first 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was his tournament to lose after 2 days, and he struggled bad, had trouble getting back to his area on the final day, and that was what allowed me to win that one. So, and that one I did. I felt like I never felt like there was a chance I'd win until I come in and got to talking to the guys.
You're like, well, look at this.
Half and half, maybe.
So the feeling's there. The feeling is it just depends on when it creeps in.
Yeah.
But it's always there. So you always know. There's always that magic feeling.
Yeah. There he is, and it's.
But let's run it down a little bit, man. I'd like to go through the history with you guys. 8 wins on the trail. 2009 Bassmaster Classic champion. You remember that one, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Fleeting memory. 2007 AOY, $3.2 million in winnings. Now, do you know how many pounds of bass you've caught in your BASS career?
Not a freaking clue.
Well, our statistician, J.P. High, knows that. He's the hip-hop fisherman. J.P., tell Skeete how many pounds of fish he's caught in his career.
7,809 pounds, 8 ounces.
Wow. A round of applause for that one. Right there.
That's a lot of bass.
Does it mean anything though?
Yeah, it's a lot of LBs.
Do I get a
It
trophy
translates
for
to
that?
dollars,
Did I get a
I believe.
paycheck?
Yeah, you did. You got lots of paychecks
Well,
for
I guess
that.
I did get a few paychecks along the way with that.
That's
Over
like
$3 million.
Yeah, that's like 6 kilos of bass right there. It's pretty good.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you know that's just my bass winnings. So yeah, I mean, I had a whole career out here as far as fishing on the West Coast, so I made a few bucks out here.
Yeah, dude.
I've won Redman regionals and so won bass tournaments, won a few boats. So I don't know. I've done okay.
Dude,
I'm not done yet though.
I know you're not. But when did you feel that you kind of hit your stride, dude? I mean, when did you kind of feel like you'd arrived? When did the Skeete swagger start?
I think the swag started when it was in '97. That was when Bass announced they were coming out west with the opens, and that's when I was working for Ken at Outdoor Pro Shop, and I didn't. It's like I told myself, I know I tried it before, but I was pretty much young and stupid. And I was like, I don't want to live with regrets, and so I quit my job. I had $3,000 to my name. Started a guide service, just thought I could make some money on the side trying to fish while I'm fishing tournaments. I come to realize I suck as a guide because I have no patience for a customer. Can't cast. But I was fortunate where I won my first 5 tournaments I fished.
Wow.
So I won a regional. So in 3 or 4 months' time, I won like $40,000.
Wow.
And that took like all the pressure off me from there on out. And then Bass finally, then they came out west. First season of the Opens, I won the points title, Angler of the Year, whatever, qualified for the Bassmaster Classic that year. And then it's just been riding the roller coaster ride since then. And so that was the turning point right there.
Do you ever just wake up and say, holy shit, I'm a Bassmaster Classic champion? Does this still happen to you?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. It does. It really does. Like, I feel like, you know, I wake up sometimes and I'm like, you know, I'm just a normal dude. I mean, that really, I mean, I am. I'm nobody special, but, you know, after you win the Classic, people kind of put you on that platform that you really, I feel like I don't deserve, so to say, but it's definitely been crazy, but eat the music.
There it is, Bassmaster Classic champion.
Jordan, do you dig into the bass history at all? Classic history and stuff like that?
Yeah, you know, I'm not a super nerd, but I mean, I know a pretty good bit, but not.
Well,
I know a little.
I'm really into it. I'm sure you know this, but do you know who the youngest angler to ever win a Classic was?
Was it Stanley Mitchell?
That is correct.
He got it right. Stanley Mitchell. Good job,
Yeah.
Jordan.
Do you know what place you are in youngest to win a Classic?
I think I'm third.
You are third.
You can't stump
Nailing
Jordan
it.
Lee. You cannot
Who's
stump.
second? Who's second?
Brian Kerschel.
That is right. God
correct.
rest his soul. God rest
Now,
his soul.
Stanley Mitchell, you know, he was 21. Kershaw was 23. You were 25. I thought it was really cool. Stanley Mitchell's acceptance speech on stage. He said something I hadn't heard really anyone say before, and he thanked all of his fellow competitors for all the help that they gave him throughout the year. Now, I got to ask you, is there any one of the other pros coming up that you'd like to shout out that really helped you out coming up?
Are you trying to make him cry?
Yeah.
Hell no.
No?
Now I'm totally kidding. Now that's an awesome statement, and you know, I think for me, I mean, there's somebody that's always helped you growing up. You know, I mean, whether you knew it at the time or not, but you know, a couple of the pros, you know, that fish the elites now, Justin Lucas. I mean, when I was in college, he was doing he was announcing for college fishing, and you know, I got to fish with Justin in the FLW tour, you know, as a co-angler, and you know, he always taught me a lot about a little bit, you know, about everything, you know, just getting into it, and that was kind of something that I think everybody needs when you're getting into the professional levels. just somebody to talk to, whether it's sponsors or new baits. But I will say this now after being in the leagues a couple of years, they don't tell me anything.
Ain't happening.
Yeah, they ain't gonna help you out anymore.
I mean,
no
if
way.
there's a new bait, a new knot, I don't care what it is. I won't know about it from my fellow competitors.
They ain't gonna talk about no Demiki rig, are
Not
they?
their job to feed the king.
No Demikis, no Tekla frogs, none of that.
Teckle Sprecher. ain't happening.
I read about you that one of your happy places. Now, I read this on the internet, so it has to be true. I mean, we know this. Let's get that out of the way. But one of your happy places is your recliner at home with a remote control in hand. Is that true, Edwin?
Oh, yeah. That was like early in my career. And since then, I've graduated, and it's probably now a tractor out at the pecan farm.
Okay, well, perfect.
Nice.
That is a perfect segue because it fits right into my analogy. As we evolve as men, a recliner is a very important thing to us. I mean, let's face it.
Oh, it is.
Okay, it really
Very,
is.
very.
And I must confess, it is one of my happy places. I have a few of them too, but and that's one of my happy places. But as we sit in that comfortable recliner, we have a tendency to drift and dream, don't we, Edwin?
Oh, yeah.
So,
all kinds of things.
So let's go back 20 years ago to Edwin's recliner, okay? I mean, you're right out of college. Now, that recliner changes forms. It might have been a milk crate and a folding chair when you first got going, okay? But and it's evolved. I mean, and you had dreams. And who would think that those would turn out to be what they are, man? A Bassmaster Classic champion, 11 BASS victories, 3 MLF victories. I mean, and Ryan, this is an astounding fact here, Ryan. Ryan, how many pounds of bass and how much money has Edwin caught over the years? We like to count professionals' money, just so you know, on this show. That's what we do. So give him a little interesting tidbit.
You have caught 8,045 pounds of bass.
Wow.
8,045. That's a lot.
It's a lot of
That's
pounds.
a lot of pounds.
Okay.
In money, that equates to $3,110,878.
Where did it all go?
Oh, we're counting it still. Don't worry.
But do you know how much that comes out to in money per pound?
I would love
bass?
to know. No.
$386 a pound.
$386 a pound. All right. Now I'm gonna go to our producer, the Ginger Ninja. Is that a record? That is
the highest we've had. Yes.
Record per pound. You are the holder of the per pound record, and you won. That little beep indicates that you won. That's what that sound was. So dreams change. Okay, I mean, now here is the 2019 Edwin Evers, and you are in your tractor. That is your recliner now.
Okay.
So my question to you is: the remote control is still in your hand. What are you going to watch now in 2019? What's the dreams now, Edwin? Where are you going?
Man.
So in other words, are you telling me that you're living the dream right now?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You see?
This is Carl. He's been obsessed with fishing since he was a widow tadpole. People have always said he has a unique style, that he skips to the speed of his own cast, so to speak. So, when he started his own tackle shop, he did it his way, with exciting new products every month and great deals on fishing essentials. But the best part? He started a club with amazing member benefits. Go say hi to Carl at shopcarls.com.
Throw farther, get some Kevin Van Dam's line and lure. You can launch it a mile. Still going. Well, better stick to fishing.
It's a command to the fish. Quality jig heads with quality components. With tried and true tackle like the Big Dude Goby head, the Hunter or Jacob head, or all new tackle like the Jackpot Net head or Buster swim bait head. Bite me. It's a command to the fish. Get the lead out and visit BiteMeTackle.net today.
Again, one of the astronauts made the statement, the only thing between the known and the unknown is just a gap in knowledge. And if you figure out what that knowledge is that separates the known and the unknown, then all of a sudden you look like one of these mystical, magical people that most of the time they're going to demonize you. In the old days, they would have cut your head off or burnt you at the stake. So, but that's really all it is. It's just filling in the blanks between the known and the unknown. And everybody, boy, when you do that, sometimes those that haven't filled in the blanks, it scares them.
Wow, that is awesome. We are going to face off a bass fishing legend, Davy Hite, and a future bass fishing legend, Ronnie Moore, against each other in a game of Bassin' Jeopardy. What do you think, guys?
Oh, man. Look at all the trophies Davey has behind him. And look at all I have is this War Room poster I got the first day of work that I did with Bassmaster. So I expect to be outmatched.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Davey's going to kick your ass, Ronnie.
Oh, so
Just saying.
So here I've got to say, don't ask all college questions. Ask some questions from back in the day. You know, that's why Ronnie and I make a good team.
Davey,
Don't sell yourself short, Ronnie. You're known around here as the Sultan of Stats.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That's why you guys set the bar way too hard too soon.
The Sultan of Stats. That's right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Bassmaster Classic champion against a Bass Live Motormouth. It's the first edition ever of Proper Bassin' Jeopardy. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Davey Hite and good old Ronnie Moore together here. I'm going to give you some topics here, guys. It's recipes for beautiful comedy movies. All right? How's that sound? Way better, isn't it, guys? Recipes for beautiful comedy movies. That is one of the categories. And the other one is random Bassin' Nuggets. It's another category, random Bassin' Nuggets. And the other one is Bassin' Icons. Bassin' Icons. Okay, so I'm going to throw it to, age before beauty. Davey, would you like to do the honor of going first or pass it to young Ronzel?
I'll defer to the second half. I'll let Ronnie go first.
Okay, all right.
Kick it
Ronnie,
off.
Please realize you need to answer in question form. Ronnie, pick a category. So you have Bassin' Icons, Bassin' Nuggets, or recipes for beautiful comedy movies.
I'll take Bassin' Nuggets. What is Bassin' Nuggets?
Bassin' Nuggets, you don't know, but just answer it in a question form. Okay, here we go. This Bassin' Icon actually bathed with his pet bass to do pheromone studies between the bass and the angler. Ronnie Moore, who is this Bassin' Icon?
I want to say Ken Cook.
Ken Cook. No, Ken was very scientific, but he wasn't that out there. And it wasn't Ken Cook. Sorry, but you didn't do questions.
It's a good guess.
Yeah.
He has to say what is Ken Cook?
Yes.
Ken Cook?
Who is?
Who is? I said, yeah.
Okay, but it's not Ken Cook. So, Davey, would you like to take a stab at it? This guy used to bathe with his bass, okay, to test pheromones. Like, so if you were a stinky angler, you know who had the best pheromones? Like the pheromones that attracted the bass were Roland Martin. He was a bass magnet. Who's the angler, Davey?
I'm going to say, who is Rick Clunn?
No, it is not Rick Clunn.
No.
But it very well
You
could have been
wanna
the
drop
correct.
him a hint?
Andy, give him a buzz, like an obnoxious buzz. Where's that? Yeah, that too. The correct answer is Doug Hannon, the bass professor. Doug Hannon.
Oh, boy.
You knew that. He was on
Pheromones, I guess.
Yeah, pheromones. Yeah.
My second guess would have been Gene Gilliland.
Yeah. It was not Mike Long. Let's just put it
Both
that way.
good guesses.
Yes.
though.
You know how you make a pheromone? You don't pay him. All right. Here we go. So now they both got it wrong. Now what do we do? Now, okay, so let's.
You had a Bass and Nuggets category, and the first word you said was Bass and Icon. I don't know how these categories would be
Ronnie, I'm a bass fisherman doing a game show, doing a talk show, doing stuff in a Chicago accident.
It's a nugget about an icon.
3 questions. I don't even care. I'm going to keep going, Ronnie. What do you want to do? Pass it to Davy, or do you want to go?
I'll let Davey go on the second one.
Davy Hite, Bassmaster Classic champion. Okay, let's get it. Davey, pick a category.
So now I'll actually go with Bass and Icons.
Bass and Icons.
About Nuggets.
Oh, Davey, this is a tough one. Okay, Davey, it's a tough one. This angler sifted through a cesspool of dead bass to claim one of bass fishing's biggest titles. On what 2 baits? It's a 3-part question. Just made this up. Who is the angler, and what are the 2 baits? In 1999, this angler waded through a cesspool of dead bass to claim one of bass fishing's biggest titles ever. 2 baits. Who's the angler?
Well, it wasn't a cesspool. But
Well, let's call it that. This is
few bass. But who is Davy Hite? And the baits are
the 2 I have in mind. They have to be. What were the baits? What were the
Gambler Bacon Rind and a crankbait.
And a crankbait. That is wrong. That is wrong. Andy, give Davy Hite the buzzer. The correct answer is Davy Hite. You got that part right. And he used a Boogerman buzzbait and a bacon rind. I forgot about the crankbait, but yeah, it's correct answer was Boogerman. And
incorrect.
Damn it! You didn't use
I might know, guy.
You didn't throw that buzzbait?
I did throw a Boogerman a little bit.
Okay.
I caught 13 of the 15 bass I weighed in on a bacon rind and 2 others on a crankbait.
Gotcha.
I did throw a Boogerman some.
Okay, because I just like to say I went and bought a bunch of them after that classic. They were made in Illinois, actually, the Boogerman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good buzzbait.
Yeah, not made anymore either. I wish it was. All right, so
I've got one right back here, as a matter of fact.
Can I have it?
I see you, Davy Hite. I see you. Hey, all right, so let's keep going. Davy, you're in the lead. You want to pass or play?
Heck, I'll play. I like Bass and Icon.
I think you're doing amazing. I think
when you control the board, you do, like bro.
Yes, he's doing amazing. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Davy Hite, Brian Kerschel, a bassing superhero to so many of us, qualified for the Bassmaster Classic through which division?
Which division did he qualify in?
Yeah, for the Bassmaster
Which
Classic.
division of the Federation?
Of the Federation, yes, sorry. Thank you, Ryan.
What is the Northern?
No. Do you know the answer, Mr. Moore?
I'm going to throw a guess out then if that wasn't the Northern. I'm going to say the Mid-Atlantic. What is the Mid-Atlantic?
It is
incorrect.
I think it is the Sea of Gibraltar division that No, it is actually which
is the Eastern Division.
It's the Eastern Division. There it is.
See, I thought they weren't going to get. I was going to say Mid-Atlantic because it's like
probably,
Northern.
Yeah.
You know, we get so much flack at Bass saying that's the Eastern when it's really the Northern. But heck, I mean, I'm in South Carolina and my Lake Master there's Mid-Atlantic. So
right, I get it. I get it. All right, here's for all the marbles. Okay, this is getting out of line. You guys are too wild. All right, this is getting out of line. All right, so who's going to do it? Who's for all the marbles? Davy or Ronnie Moore?
I'll go Bass and Nuggets if I can pick one. I'll do the Nuggets again.
Bass and Nuggets again. Gosh, you didn't even go with any of the recipes for comedy disaster.
No, because I don't know any. I don't know where that's going.
Oh, you know these. Yeah, I made them easy for you. You know. All right, so Bass and Nuggets. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
This is a two-part question that are completely unrelated to each other. Ronnie, this is your chance to beat a Bassmaster Classic champion right now. Who was the first life member of BASS? Second part of the question, what was Davey knows. What was the secondary?
Hey, no Googling.
Yeah,
Are
Ronnie,
you Googling?
Stop it, Ron.
You
see,
There we
Davey?
go.
He's accusing you of cheating.
Hands up.
Okay.
I like myself so much, I'm watching myself twice.
Nice. You love you. Love you some Ronnie.
All right, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so 1968, first life member of Bass. Second part of the question: what was Kevin Van Dam's secondary winning lure in the 2010 Bassmaster Classic?
Oh, I was at that one, man. So I don't know if he was a life one, but the first member back in 1968 was Don Butler.
Don Butler is correct. Good answer.
Huh?
Yes. Good answer, Ron.
That
Moore.
is correct.
Okay.
Good answer.
Second one, back under the Beeswax Bridge at Lay Lake.
Yes.
Throwing that gold and black trap.
Yep, that's
and
the
then-
one everybody knows. That one.
One everybody knows. So I'm just going to go out there and just say he was throwing a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait.
That is incorrect.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's incorrect. It's a very subtle bait. I'm going to pass it to you, Mr. Hite. Do you have an idea what it is?
Well, first of all, since we are competing and we are competitors,
Yes. Yes, sir.
I think Ronnie answered he needs to say who is Don Butler.
You are correct.
He didn't answer it right.
That's why. Yes.
So
Thank you.
I'm gonna protest
Yes.
on the one that he got right.
And rightfully so, sir.
Has to be in writing.
Rightfully
and
so.
Then behind Beeswax Creek, it was not a rattle trap. It was a red eye shad.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Primary bait.
Ronnie.
And then the second one was.
Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey.
He caught them all on the dang red eye shad.
Yeah, but he was catching. Remember, early in the morning, before they. I want you to win, Davey. I want you to win. Before they get. I don't want Ronnie to win. Before they went into the back of the cove, you know, where he was targeting them, like
Square bill.
Hey, it's close. Be a little more specific. It's another kind of crankbait.
What is a square bill?
No, it's another kind of
What is
crankbait.
a 1.5?
No. Say what is something other kind of crankbait, Davey. I want you to win. It's not.
What is a Strike King crankbait? That's the answer.
No,
That's
it's a
the
Strike King. Yeah, it is a Strike King's crankbait. It was a flat side, though. Congratulations, Davy Hite. Yes. That's a true champion. Learn.
I should have said, what is a Booger Man buzzbait?
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle Baits called the Buzz Toad. Big thing lately has been putting a toad style bait on a buzz bait, and preferably it's my favorite way to fish one. This bait here's got a quick planing head, a great hook, and it squeals right out of the package. The body of this bait is big and bulky, so it allows you to skip it. It planes quicker than a skirted bait would. In my opinion, it's just the way to fish a buzz bait. So y'all check this thing out. It's pretty awesome.
The swim jig technique is one of the most successful ways to put fish in the boat. Time in and time out, Brovani Baits swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success.
Walking off the classic stage was really hard for me.
He emerged out of the college ranks. The young angler we have come to know and love. Ladies and gentlemen, Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television is proud to bring to you two-time Bassmaster Classic champion, Jordan Lee! Yes! Yes! Give me an internet high five, Jordan.
Hey, you got a lot of people in there screaming.
Yeah! Dude, they're going nuts.
They got the number one fingers up.
They're still excited about Rick Clunn, I think. I'm not sure it's you, but it's definitely Clunn, for sure.
That's a tough man to follow. Your show's going downhill now.
No, dude, we're stoked to have you on, man. And I think the first thing to say to you is congratulations. Again,
absolutely.
Congratulations, dude.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing, you know, last few weeks. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you slept at all?
Oh yeah, I've slept plenty since then. But directly after the event, I can't say I was sleeping a whole lot. It's pretty busy right after it. So, but I've caught up since.
Well, let's do it this way. Let's imagine you're at a bar, okay? And let's say it's you and Justin Atkins sitting around. Let's throw Justin Lucas in there. Let's throw Matt. Matt's in there with you too.
All right, fair enough.
All of a sudden, you're just sitting at the bar and you're having a good old time, and somebody just comes up and left hooks you out of nowhere. Boom, dude. That's kind of seems what happened in these last two Bassmaster Classics. You got left hooked, but it ended up wonderfully, man. It was amazing. You got the left hook.
Dude, it was crazy, these last two events. I mean, the Classics, just how it's, ended up for me. It is really, surreal. I mean, just how the leaders, it's been just one of those tough days, those last days. I mean, that tournament's just been tough. And I've just happened to make the right, decisions on that final day, and it's worked out for me.
Man,
but yeah, there were some left hooks thrown for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like it's amazing because and no disrespect intended whatsoever by the statement I am about to make, but it seems as if you're flying by the seat of your pants, and I love it. But you are such a natural. I don't know if I have ever seen anybody able to adapt to conditions. An angler as yourself, man. It's amazing how you do that, and I mean that sincerely.
Well, it's one thing is that tournament in particular. I had a pretty tough practice, and when that happens, when you go out there, and I was struggling, and you really can kind of just have an open mind, and that's really what I did in that tournament. I had something in mind, that the docks were, fishing boat docks on Hartwell was something that I knew I wanted to do, and I was confident in it. And it just wasn't happening in practice. But, the weather really played out for me is what happened. I mean, I did adapt somewhat, but I kind of that was going to be my best chance at winning that tournament. And that's really what I tried to focus on, and just seeing the weather and how it was going to change and warm up. I was kind of really banking on that to put me through that event.
Well, it's like Rick Clunn was just talking about, is fishing the moment. Yeah. One of the most important things, and it seems like you're nailing that.
He is 100%, dude. I mean, that is it's so amazing that you're able to do that because again, we were having this conversation with Clunn, and I can't do that. He was telling us, and you may have heard him say this, that during a tournament day, the majority of the tournament is a grind, and then there's moments of flurries. And it's how you handle the grind that makes you a successful angler.
That's right.
Dude, you handled the grind.
Yeah, I handle the grind pretty good because most of the time is a grind.
Obviously. There's no doubt about it. Whoa, what is this? Do you hear this, Jordan? I think it could be, I think it's King Kong coming through the jungle. Wait.
Hello?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Lee and Kevin Van Dam right now on Straycast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Stand up and shout right now. Kevin, welcome, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Just hustling around, I got a long road trip coming up, so been busy. A short time home, trying to make the most of it.
And we appreciate you coming on. And you're on with this guy that also won 2 Bassmaster Classics, Jordan Lee. You're on with him right now, right here.
Yeah, he's been a show-off lately, the little fun gun.
Wow.
Oh, I don't show off compared to Kevin. We all know that.
No, come on. Lately. I can think of 2 times.
Well, what are the 2 times?
That's the only 2 times. Kevin's got like 28 times he can refer back to. I only got 2.
If you're going to show off, that's the time to do it. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. What do you think about Jordan Lee's average, Kevin? I mean, 4 classics and 2 W's. It's pretty outstanding.
Yeah, I'm 4 for 28, so he's doing a whole lot better on his average. That's for sure. They're hard to come by, though. I'll promise you that.
Oh man, and it's and it's evident. And again, we just had Clunn on before you guys, and we learned a tremendous amount from him. I'm not going to kid you today that we did, and something that kind of points back to both of you guys in our eyes is your ability to persevere. Even though Jordan's only been at it for a short time, you've been at it for quite a while. The perseverance is what is admirable in both of your cases. Does that make
what's really interesting to me is how dramatic he likes to make it. Why, like last year, why go out and catch a limit every day when you don't have to? Why not come back from, the middle of the pack to go and win the damn thing? This year, the same thing. Virtually nobody gives him a snowball's chance in heck to be even in contention on the final day. And what's he do? Goes and shows off again. That's why you don't ever want to slip around that kid.
I promise you I don't plan it like that. Yeah, that's the last thing I want to do is to be 8 pounds back going in the last day in any tournament, because your odds are usually stacked against you. But
yeah, when you do it, once you've done it for a while and you've been in fish enough tournaments to know, but it's you know that you don't want to live like that very long for sure. It's a whole lot better being 8 pounds ahead going into the last day and going out there and sacking the heck out of them. It's a lot funner. I can promise you that.
Hey, Kevin, I know you're busy, and we do appreciate you calling in. And before you go, I was wondering if you could help me with something here. That I think that Jordan needs a catchphrase. Like Chris Lane has the ever so riveting kapow, and Iaconelli has the don't stop trying that he says, and they never give up. What could be a good catchphrase for Jordan Lee, Kevin? What do you think?
Well, I think because of his initials, and just in the way that he's so dramatic, in the way that he does win when he does, that he needs to come up with some dance moves. And so we'll just call him J-Lo, and he'll be just like the J-Lo from the music industry, and he just gonna bring it on like that. So I don't know. He doesn't need no catchphrase like you can never be too far back or anything like that. That doesn't work. I think he should just show up, smile, and just break it down.
Just bust a move and shake his moneymaker.
Just to bust a move.
I guess I'm gonna have to take some class.
I'm sure he's got talent.
I'm not known for my dance moves. I promise you that. So I guess I'm gonna have to take some lessons.
That's Skeete and Davy Hite. They're known for their dance moves.
Marty
the party.
I definitely am not.
Can I just say this? All that seems to matter to you is Leslie, Jordan, Spencer, and Bass. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's so great. You almost seem immune to outside forces. It appears that way. Do you guys agree with me?
Got a force field.
You do have an Aaron Martin's force field.
I've been through a lot. I guess I've been through some hard times and good times, and I've been beat up a lot in this sport. Some of the second place classics were tough.
We heard about those.
One of my worst ones. You remember I was in Pittsburgh, right? When I lost that 2-pound smallmouth, and it rolled. It was on the. They didn't see the bass for how close it was to coming in the boat, but I literally landed flat on the gunnel. I remember watching it. There was no time to grab it. I remember watching it. It was either going to slip into the boat or slip out of the boat. It was my biggest fish I hooked all week. Last day, hour left. And I had that little short in the boat. I was afraid to wait. I ended up throwing that short back, and I lost by about 4 ounces. So I
remember seeing you collapse.
I knew when I had that 2-pounder, I knew that was a classic. And I didn't give up, but it was that. I mean, I didn't do that on purpose. It was this agony. And after that tournament, after I threw back the keeper, that was probably a keeper that I could have weighed in. I ended up not taking the chance. It was a 1 pound penalty. I didn't know what the other guy had, Kevin. So I ended up tossing the one that was on the line. And then after that, I was like, I should have waited, of course.
Right.
I lost by a few ounces. So that was kind of that lasted like a few days. I mean, I pray about it, and I try to be positive, but there's almost no way to make the pain go away for days. You know, that's a hard thing to tell. It's like what, $500,000 that one. The money was big. I get $50,000
and a classic. I mean,
just a classic victory. Yeah.
I mean, it's.
And I caught him so good in that one. It's just it was a tough one. But there's a lot of those that even you end up in the top 10, not even close to like really to winning it, but you were really close to winning it, and you know, you may have made a mistake or didn't go somewhere you should have. There's just lots of fishing's all about that.
But here's what I'm saying. I've seen all this. We've seen that happen, especially
that's
the
how
classics.
I've learned, though. That's how I've learned. That's how
the next season you bounce back. It seems like you give 0 Fs. Boom, you're back. You're back bass fishing.
I turn it into productiveness, I guess. I do.
Thank you.
I torture myself for like days, even weeks later. I'll think about it, and then I'll think about what I did wrong, and then I turn it into like acceleration instead of deceleration, kind of a positive.
Now, has it always been like that, Aaron, or
I mean,
back in the early days, was it harder to recover, and then you learned something along the way on how to shed it?
I don't know. I've always been real super competitive, so I get mad. And when I was younger, I probably wasn't as cool as I am now. I probably got hotter under the collar, but I think most young guys do that. That's normal. It's such a competitive sport, and if you're competitive, it's you beat yourself up. I never really took out anybody else but myself. That's kind of, and now that I have a family, I almost feel worse now when I do bad or something fails like that, or like the Angler year when that one I had to fish to win the tournament at St. Lawrence, and I sheared some bolts off my jack plate. That was That was a bad one, and I let I got AOI the day before, and I would have won that one. And
yeah,
that was hard to take, but it was kind of sort of out of my hands. So I mean, I'm just like I said, I don't take it out on anybody else but myself, and that's how I've kind of taught myself to let it roll. Like nowadays, something happens, I don't think I react at all hardly, just because I've already been there and done that. As far as a classic goes, nah. I mean, yeah, throughout the year, I can't deny it. It comes into thought a few times here and there, but not as much as you think. It doesn't like bother me. Maybe it will when I get older, but I don't think it will. I mean,
but it's still a possibility.
Second place is good, but right now I feel like I still have a good chance to maybe win one. You know?
Heck yeah,
yeah.